On Global TV News Express, scores fears dead as mining pit collapses in Zamfara. In business, Pengasson threatens refinery over sacked workers. On the foreign scene, Madagascar Energy Minister sacked as protests continue. And in sports, West Ham appoint Nuno Espirito Santo as new manager. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Mukhtar Kasim. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. And now, in details. Vice President Kashim Shettima has met with the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres in New York to push Nigeria's global aspirations at the ongoing 80th United Nations General Assembly. The talks focus on Nigeria's quest for a permanent seat on the Security Council alongside climate change, artificial intelligence and development. Shettima urged the United Nations to support Nigeria even more, while Foreign Affairs Minister Yusuf Tuga disclosed that Guterres commended Nigeria's determination. Away from that, tragedy has struck in Zamfara State as a mining pit collapsed at the Kauduri site in Maru local government area, leaving scores feared dead. Local sources confirmed that at least 13 bodies have been recovered, with several others still trapped under the rubble from the incident. The State Solid Mineral Development Agency's Executive Secretary, Nasiru Bamanga, says he is awaiting full details, but will personally visit the site to assess the situation. And now talking security, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, has appealed for stronger support to end banditry in the northwest and has assured Nigerians of the military's resolve to defeat insecurity nationwide. Speaking through defense spokesperson, Brigadier General Tukur Gusau in Kebbi State, Musa emphasized collaboration with the media, communities and youth in intelligence gathering. He condemned reports of communities aiding bandits and urged residents to join hands with security agencies to restore peace and stability. Away from that to the medical tourism, where medical tourism continues to drain Nigeria's economy and weakens its health system as thousands of citizens travel abroad for treatment that could be available at home with better investment sector. Our correspondent, Zara Unasir, takes a look at the rising trend of medical tourism and the impact on Nigeria's healthcare and economy.
What was once the preserve of people from less developed nations seeking advanced treatment in foreign hospitals has now become a common practice among Nigerians across different income levels. Experts say the trend underscores the weakness of Nigeria's healthcare delivery system, noting that it does not only drain foreign exchange but also exposes patients to risks such as foreign infections and unregulated standards of care. Observation shows that many Nigerians have more confidence in seeking medical treatment abroad than within their own country. Some citizens argue that the persistent decay in local health infrastructure is the reason medical tourism has become inevitable for those who can afford it.
Our health sector is in comatose because everything in Nigeria health sector, for me, I don't think is working.
Okay, on that note, I think they feel like Nigerian doctors, they are not really professional, unlike outside medical personnel. And again, their facilities is more advanced than Nigerian facilities.
Hassan Yola Hassan recounts his journey from Nigeria to Egypt for medical treatment, explaining how he regained his health after procedures he could not access at home.
We don't have facilities here. We don't have medical facilities here. Therefore, our health institution is very poor and so that's why even me, I was in Egypt last 2 years for medical tourism to go and treat myself there because I spent about 5 to 10 years here without getting a good treatment.
Medical experts emphasize that Nigeria must urgently invest in modern facilities train personnel and strengthen regulations to curb dependence on foreign hospitals. They warn that without deliberate reforms, medical tourism will continue to undermine Nigeria's economy and health care system. Zahra Nasr, reporting for Global TV News.
Let's head to Rivers State, where Governor Siminalayi Fubara has approved the immediate dissolution of the State Pension Board, directing the defunct members to be taken over by the Office of the Accountant General of the Federation. In a statement by the head of service, Dr. Iyengi Brown, members of the defunct board were asked to hand over all assets to the pension office. The governor is expected to constitute a new board in due course, marking his first major decision since the end of the emergency rule in the state. Now moving to Imo State, where Governor Hope Uzodinma is to unveil a special compendium titled A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance in Nigeria, documenting 10 years of the All Progressive Congress APC leadership. The governor, who made this known in Owerri, Imo State, while inspecting some of the projects set for commissioning, said the unveiling will be part of the party's anniversary. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, reports.
The governor, who authored the compilation with his team, explained that the book, A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance in Nigeria, highlights where the APC met Nigeria in 2015 and the progress achieved over the past decade.
The compilation was authored by me and my team, and it will be presented to the public on 30th of this month. And the Imo will be playing host to the national leadership of our great party. And the chief guest of honor will be Mr. President himself. All the past national chairmen of our great party will be in attendance. Members of Progressive Governors Forum will be in attendance.
He announced that Imo State will host the national leadership of the APC on 30th of this month, with President Bola Tinubu as the chief guest of honor. Past national chairmen of the party and members of the Progressive Governors Forum are also expected at the event. Governor Uzodinma further pointed out that other projects to be commissioned by the president include the Owerri-Mbise Road, Owerri-Okigwe Road, and a new flyover at Asanta Cathedral, designed to end years of traffic congestion.
One of the significant things that happened in Imo State was the huge infrastructural gap we met on ground. We've been able to close the gap to some reasonable extent, among which is an international conference center that is capable of hosting the world. And we'll be playing host for the first time with that facility on 30th of this month. So I've gone around to see the extent of completion of work in some of these facilities. I'm impressed and happy with the contractors, the work they have done so far.
For Governor Hope Uzodinma, the APC's decade in power is a testimony of progress, unity, and commitment to the Nigerian people. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Let's return to the nation's capital, where President Bola Tinubu has urged Nigerians to pray for the growth and progress of the nation. The president, who was represented by the Minister of Information, Mohammed Idris, made this known at the Jumu'at service to commemorate Nigeria's 65th independence anniversary. Samuel Odi reports.
The president, who was represented by Minister of Information Mohammed Idris at the Jumu'at service, thanked God for the peace and prosperity the country have enjoyed so far.
The president is asking all Nigerians to forget about whatever differences that there are. Differences will always be there, but there is the message of hope, the message of unity, the message of togetherness that all of us need to imbibe, so that all.
At the National Mosque in Abuja, prominent Islamic cleric Imam Lukman Zakaria led the congregation in offering special prayers for the continued stability, prosperity, and security of the nation. The cleric urged leaders to embrace justice, fairness and accountability in governance while calling on citizens to remain steadfast in prayers and commitment to nation building. The estates of Nupe, Alhaji Yahaya Abubakar and top government officials and members of diplomatic community all united in thanksgiving for Nigerians' journey since independence in 1960. He called for Nigerians to unite and shun tribalism.
For that, and we're moving. We're moving gradually, but the sky is our limit, and we pray Almighty Allah to guide our leaders aright. We pray Almighty Allah to give us peace and security and development in this country.
Similar prayer sections were observed in mosques across the 36 states of the Federation, reinforcing the collective hope for a stronger and more united Nigeria as Nigerian clocks 65. The prayers offered today serve as a reminder that beyond policies and politics, divine guidance and commitments of the people remain central to shaping the nation's future. Samuel Odi for Global Television News.
Meanwhile, the Federal High Court in Abuja has rejected the non-case submission filed by Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the banned indigenous people of Biafra, in his terrorism trial. Justice James Omotosho ruled that the prosecution led by the Department of State Services has established a prime facie case requiring Kanu to open his defense. Ubong Usoro has details.
Kanu's legal team has argued that no evidence linked him to terrorism, claiming his calls for self-defense were constitutional rights, not incitement to violence.
The judge made a ruling that there's a prima facie evidence that needs to be explained. So in common parlance, it calls on him to come and mount his own defense. But there is the other aspect of the ruling that concerned extraordinary rendition. That very one is one that compounded us, because the extraordinary rendition of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is so open and notorious.
The challenge is prolonged solitary confinement. However, the court found sufficient grounds to proceed. In a significant health-related development, the court ordered the Nigerian Medical Association to form an expert team to assess Kanu's medical condition within the 8 days. This report will determine his fitness to stand trial. The next court session is scheduled for October the 8th to review the medical finding and set the trial date.
Well, there's a short date given of 8 days for the NMA to submit its report. So somebody is ill, I don't think NIA is going to change much of that. But I think the judge wanted to leave the record open to admit every possible evidence regarding this matter. But meantime, we are disappointed. Our client remains ill and remains detained, and we're not happy about that. His situation requires urgent and emergent care. So what?
Kanu has been in custody since his return from Kenya in 2021. The trial will now continue following the judge's latest ruling. Ubong Usoro for Global Television.
Now, in line with the agenda of restoring Abuja's master plan, the Federal Capital Territory Administration, FCTA, has flagged off the construction of the aerial roads N11, N16, N40 and SILS 03 in the Karazana district to Renewed Hope Estate in Abuja. Kabir Hassan reports.
The flag of health at the Karazana district was attended by eminent personalities, dignitaries and traditional rulers who praised the federal government effort and its agenda on infrastructure development across the nation's capital. The Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, says the project will provide job opportunities, enhance the area and improve all other infrastructure developments. He assured good quality work, stating that when the project is completed, it will provide good road network.
Mr. President directed that the FCT should provide infrastructure in terms of road network to link up the new estate and other estates within the district. We assure the residents of this Karazana district that were discussed with the contractors. We'll do everything within our own powers to send our funds are made available so that during the 30-year anniversary of Mr. President
we will achieve the inauguration of this road network. These several of the road network contracts that are going on are being completed and with the quality required. All we ask for is for the residents here and the community to support the company so that they are able to achieve on time.
The 10.5-kilometer road, when completed, will ease traffic and improve residential development, as it is expected to be completed in 18 months. The FCT administration and the contractors of the project appeal to the residents and commuters for patience to be able to achieve the project. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
And now to security matters, where Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetekun has commissioned 59 armored Toyota Hilux vehicles in Abuja to boost special operations and improve security response. He says the force is ready to take the fight to criminals across the country. Anita Patrick has details.
Insecurity in Nigeria and across Africa is growing more complex, and the answer must be readiness backed with resources. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetekun, says the new armored vehicles are designed for high-risk operations, offering speed, protection, and durability for tactical units on the field. He warned that the vehicles are not ceremonial assets, but operational reinforcements that must never sit idle or be diverted for private use.
These assets here today that we are commissioning represent our determination to move faster than the criminals, respond stronger than the threats, and assure citizens that their police are not overwhelmed but prepared.
The police chief noted that the operational vehicles are stronger tools to fight any criminal activities across the country. He emphasized that all operations with the new assets must remain lawful, proportionate, and professional. The IGP stressed that while the Hiluxes provide mobility and protection, only the discipline and integrity officers would transform them into true instruments of security.
Let me, however, state clearly that equipment alone cannot guarantee results. It is the discipline, judgment, and courage of the officers who operate them and the support of the people that will transform these vehicles into instruments of security. The Hiluxes will provide the shield, but our officers must provide the integrity.
Egbetekun assured Nigerians that more vehicles will be deployed in the days ahead to commands nationwide. While thanking President Bola Tinubu for supporting the acquisition, the IGP pledged that the police will justify the investment through improved safety and restored public confidence. Anita Patrick, reporting for Global TV.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, Pegasus threatens shutdown of Dangote refinery over sacked workers. Details coming shortly, plus foreign and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. You're welcome back from that break. If you're just tuning in, this is the live broadcast of News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital. And now to business news, where the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pegasus, has threatened to picket the Dangote refinery after about 800 workers allegedly lost their jobs for joining the union. The association accused the refinery of replacing Nigerians with over 2,000 Indian nationals, while Dangote management insisted only a few workers were dismissed in an ongoing reorganization linked to repeated sabotage. The refinery management demanded the move as necessary for safety, but Pegasus General Secretary Lumumba Okumba maintained that the sacking were targeted at union members. Still talking business, the National Pension Commission has raised the minimum capital requirement for pension fund administrators from 2 billion naira to 20 billion naira in a major regulatory shakeup. Pension fund administrators with assets under management above 500 billion naira must now maintain 20 billion naira plus 1% of excess assets, while special operators like the Nigerian Police Force pension must hold 30 billion naira. The Commission says the review, effective immediately for new licenses, but with a 2026 deadline for existing operators, is to strengthen financial stability, improve risk management, and safeguard the contributory pension scheme. And now to news making rounds on the international scene, where Madagascar's President Andry Rajoelina has sacked his energy minister in a bid to quell days of protest over crippling power and water shortages. But demonstrators say rallies will continue. At least 5 people have been killed, businesses looted, and students complained of 12 hours blackouts that have halted classes for weeks, while protesters accuse security forces of repressing citizens instead of stopping looters. Now, despite an overnight curfew and the president's branding the unrest as act of destabilization, many residents have joined efforts to clean the capital, stressing their support for peaceful demonstration. Let's move to the United States, where the government is set to revoke the visa of Colombian President Gustavo Petro over what Washington has described as an incendiary action, deepening tensions between the two countries. The Trump administration recently decertified Colombia as an ally in the drug war, citing frustration with the South American nation's policies, though sanctions were not imposed. Colombia's interior minister reacted angrily, writing on X that Israel Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu should have been sanctioned instead of Petro. And I'm going to Asia, where authorities in Thailand say at least 7 people have now died in severe floods caused by heavy monsoon rains, affecting over 260,000 people along the Chao Phraya River. Thailand Prime Minister visited the hardest hit province, ordering the distribution of survival kits and sandbags reinforcements, while warning of further risk of landslide. Now, experts say climate change is worsening the scale of the extreme weather as the country braces for more heavy rain in the coming days. And now to the world of sport, where West Ham have confirmed the appointment of Nuno Espirito Santo as their new manager just hours after parting ways with Graham Potter following poor results. Transfer journalist Fabrizio Romano reports that the Portuguese coach signed the contract and will lead his first training session immediately as the Hammers seek a reset. Nuno, best known for his successful spell with Wolverhampton Wanderers and Nottingham Forest, is tasked with lifting West Ham's league form after a disappointing start to the season. Still talking sports, Remo Stars have progressed to the second preliminary round of the CAF Confederations League after defeating US Zaljorj of Comoros 1-0 in Abeokuta, completing a dominant 5-0 aggregate win. Alex Oyowa's 74th-minute penalty sealed the second leg victory after Remo Stars had already blown away the visitors 4-0 in the first league encounter. The Nigerian champions will face continental heavyweights Mamelodi Sundowns of South Africa in what promises to be a stern test to their ambition. And finally in sports, Super Falcons striker Asisat Oshola was again on target as Al Hilal secured a 3-0 win over Nam SC in the Saudi Women's Premier League. Oshola set up the opener before scoring the third, taking her tally to 3 goals and 2 assists in 3 matches since joining from Bay FC. Now her rival has boosted the profile of the Saudi League, with Al Hilal now recording 3 straight wins as they prepare to face Al Ittihad next. As Global TV News Express comes to an end, here is a recap of our top stories. Earlier in the news, we brought to you that tragedy has struck in Zamfara State as mining pit collapses at Kaduri site in Moro local government area, leaving scores feared dead. In business, the Petroleum and Natural Gas Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengaton, has threatened to picket the Dangote refinery after about 800 workers allegedly lost their job for joining the union. For the international scene, Madagascar's president has sacked his energy minister in a bid to quell days of protest over crippling power and water shortages, but demonstrators say rallies will continue. And from the world of sport, West Ham United have confirmed the appointment of Nuno Espirito Santos as manager just hours after parting ways with Graham Potter following poor results. That's it on News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using at Global Television NG. I am Mukhtar Kasim, saying a very big thank you for watching.